How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 5, what I believe will be the final episode. But I could be totally wrong. I could have really just set myself up for failure here, because this is my last playthrough video for the year. And if I misjudged where we're at in the game, and there actually is more than one episode's worth of content, I might be a little screwed on that plan, but it's okay. We'll be okay. I think this is the final stretch. I think even somebody told me in the comments in the last episode that this is the final stretch. We are now in what was the epilogue of Chapter 2. Shion decided, you know what, I'm tired of being Mion, so they switch places again. So Mion, or who we've known to be Mion this entire time, is back to herself, and then she was killed. So we know that there's a corpse down there, and it's the one that we've known as Mion. And the one that we've known as Shion is, well, she's the problematic one, and she's still out and about. Which is not good, because she's the killer. June 1983. There has been a series of disappearances in Hinamizawa, Shishibone City, whatever prefecture. The suspect is Mion Sonozaki, somewhere in her teens. Allegedly, she abducted, imprisoned, and killed 5 Hinamizawan residents: Oryo Sonozaki, Shion Sonozaki, Kichiro Kimiyoshi, Rika Furude, and Soroko Hojo between June 19th and the 21st. Preliminary investigations on the incident were delayed at the time due to insufficient evidence, but by chance the case was solved rather abruptly. On the morning of the 22nd, a vehicle patrolling the Sonozaki property heard screams from inside and rushed in as an emergency measure. They secured the suspect's missing younger sister, Shion Sonozaki, and 2 missing classmates, Keiichi Maibara and Reina Ryugu. The suspect fled the scene. We found hair, pieces of skin, and blood of the 4 missing people, and we already know who, in the torture room that was discovered in the basement of the outbuilding of the Sonozaki family property. This is kind of getting cut off here. Supposedly that's where they were killed. We concluded that the victims were tortured in that room. Or they were killed in the torture room, I'm sorry. However, the remains have still not been found. According to one of her imprisoned classmates' advice, the bodies should be somewhere in the basement of the outbuilding where the torture took place. However, nothing has been uncovered as of yet, including the escape route the suspect took. In addition, investigations continue regarding any possible connection to the series of mysterious deaths in recent years. But no evidence that Mion Sonozaki was involved, either directly or indirectly, has been found. There are still many unclear points as to the motive behind the incident, and as those of the Sonozaki family and the residents of Hinamizawa have been extremely uncooperative in assisting us, we expect to require a long time to clarify them. The opinion of a local officer knowledgeable about the region is that this may have been a lynching, an internal form of punishing sacrilegious acts carried out against the beliefs of Hinamizawa village. It is clear that these incidents are particularly rooted in this region, and the prefectural police department has ordered a cautious investigation. We anticipated gaining valuable clues from the missing person believed to have been imprisoned for the longest time, Shion Sonozaki, the suspect's younger sister. However, the incident has left such serious mental after effects that she has not been in a state of mind to properly answer any questions about what she knows. The psychiatrist concluded that she is in a temporary state of shock, but as of today, she has yet to show any improvement. Okay, this is what's interesting. So we know that Shion here is the Shion that we've known, the mastermind behind it all. Oh, here we go, we're back at it. She is actually, yeah, she's acting. She's actually fooling everybody with this, you know, oh, I'm mentally ill deal. Like, I have seen too much. And really she has, but that's not the point. She's getting away with it. And, like, medical professionals are agreeing that she is mentally sick from what had happened. That's kind of concerning that they are failing. They're getting the wrong answer here. I was acting at first. It was just an act to avoid being interrogated by the police. As it turns out, though, fake insanity can become real. You see, I couldn't bear it any longer. I continued to be haunted by the presence Rena Ryugu had talked about. It was so close that it could almost touch my back. It wasn't Satoshi-kun, and it wasn't a hallucination. It had become Shion's ghost. Shion didn't go to heaven after all. She was always by my side instead. Shion didn't like the fact that I was still alive when she wasn't. So she had decided to haunt me until she witnessed my death. Every night she whispered to me, telling me to die. I get it. I get it. I shouted at the Shion in my back. Through my mouth, she shouted back at me. It must look odd to other people. They'd think I was arguing with myself. Actually, you know what? Maybe all the medical professionals were right. Let's kind of think about what Shion has done recently. Maybe she is mentally ill, but not in the way that many were expecting. It's not fair. Why are you still living, sis? Die, die, die already. You said you'd die right after you killed me. I'm waiting, I'm waiting. It's so dark and cold in this well. It's cold. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts. I get it, I get it. Shut up. What exactly do you think, sis? You won't die in the way you want to. You're just running away. You're just trying to survive even after you did all those horrible things. You'll never be forgiven. You're cursed. You're cursed. You're destined to die. Jesus. I've been playing a lot of Phasmophobia recently. My friends, they finally convinced me to get it. This game can't scare me no more, or visual novels in general. This is pretty strange, though. Yeah, this is kind of further cementing that I'm pretty sure, there's nothing that's been following Shion. She's just slowly but surely been losing her mind. Shion banged on the door. Yeah, that noise is too loud. It's cracking my ears and my head open. Shion's trying to break in. Ah, shit. All right, Shion, I get it. The perfect way for me to die is to be cursed to death by you, isn't it? But I won't be going so easily. Haha, I won't simply disappear. It wouldn't be fair if your beloved was left alive after all. Oh. I think I know where this is going. I went out onto the balcony to avoid Shion, who was on the other side of the door. If I jump over the railing to the neighboring apartment, I could reach the fire escape. I don't even know, what is that? Hiyak, ya. Eat shit, Shion. She's just doing some weird shit. I leaned over the railing and jumped to the balcony next door. And then I rushed down the stairs, noiseless as a cat. Shion was too stupid to realize that I escaped. Yeah, that is some weird laughter. I don't even know, how to properly say that. It wouldn't take too long to get to Keiichi's house on a motorcycle. Shion must believe that I'm still in that room. She's so stupid. I mean, if you believe that she believes that you're not there, then your mind's gonna believe that she's gonna believe... I don't know where I'm going with this anymore. Soon enough, I could see the Maibara mansion. I'd never seen it before, but I'd heard a great deal about it from Shion. She told me that Keiichi's room is on the second floor. I should wake him up. Throw a stone! I threw a couple of stones at the window, and shortly thereafter, the light turned on and the window opened. I saw Keiichi there. The moment I saw him, my madness cooled off for a while. Even from here, I could tell that Keiichi was running down the stairs. He showed up quickly, with a doll in his hand. I felt depressed to see it. It was the doll he failed to give to Shion. It isn't fair after all, Shion. I'm so jealous, Kei-chan. I want to receive a doll from Satoshi-kun too. Mio! Okay, so this definitely is cementing more. I mean, Mion dying should also, like, really cement a lot of things, but this definitely cements that Keiichi actually did meet up with Shion, who was pretending to be Mion here. Only she knows that one of the sisters is dead, and that is Mion. And that is also putting the blame onto her, and, I guess, killing her off. Despite the burning insanity within me, I spoke to him calmly. Ah, it's true. My body is controlled by the demon now. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here I wouldn't be here this late.
お前、こんなところをうろついてて大丈夫なのか?
本当はいけないよ。
それよりどうしたんだよ。こんな時間に。
At least she can, like, properly continue to play both parts.
最後にお話ししたかったから。
I feel horribly sleepy. Maybe it's more like fainting due to loss of blood. Wait, why do we have loss of blood? That sensation is proof that the insanity is swallowing me.
私ね。もうここにはいられない。
大丈夫か？どこか具合でも。
今日まで頑張ってきたけど自分でわかるのもうダメ。もう限界。
Uh-oh.
私のお迎えはもうすぐ後ろまで来てる。
Yeah, she cannot contain her madness at all. I won't get to decide how I die. Shion won't allow me to. No wonder. I dropped her down the well. It wasn't only her. None of the people I killed chose to die how they did. Considering that, debating how I'll die must seem a luxurious concern to the dead. Yeah, you know, I don't really remember the creepy laughter
大丈夫かよ。
from chapter 2, to be
もう
honest.
無理するな。あ、そうだ。俺ミオに。
I'll kill him, I'll kill him, kill him. Yes, I'll avenge Satoshi-kun's death. I'll avenge his death. This guy is Shion's beloved. I hate her. I'll kill him and teach her a lesson. Eat this. While gravity's pull spun around me, I realized that I had stabbed him with a knife. Good thing we got a knife. Yeah, she crazy. I made it. I made it. I made it before Shion killed me. I got back at her. Take that, Shion. Keiichi rolled on the ground, clutching his stomach.
できた。全部できた。私が殺したやつはこれでさえ。
Yeah, she can blame this shit on a demon all she wants. I'm pretty sure she just straight up lost her mind. Yeah, I did it. I did it. I avenged your death, Satoshi-kun. Is that really avenging? Don't you love me for it? Will you stroke my head? Her laughter is just kind of weird. It's all over the place. Yes. This was all a bad dream. After all, I was just in my room like always, suffering from nightmares of Shion. But where was I now? I had been standing on my apartment's fire escape alone. I could still recall that dream. Yes, I had stepped out onto the veranda. My front door was still locked, so I had to climb through the veranda again. Huh. Whoa. My foot had slipped, and then I felt a floating sensation. After that, a sharp, indescribable pain ran through my head. That indescribable pain finally cleared the fog away from my nightmare. Oh. This is where we end up dying, huh? I just slipped from the fire escape as I tried to return to my balcony and fell onto the roof jutting out from the elevator hall 2 or 3 floors down. My room is on the 8th floor. God damn it. I wasn't expecting to be caught up here. When I fell, my head landed right on the concrete corner, and I could feel both enormous pain and the warm blood dripping out. I felt strangely calm. I couldn't sense the demon, Shion's ghost, or my grudge. I felt just like a baby. The nothingness brought me peace. All my memories from when I was born and named Mio up until today came to my mind. I recalled memories of the time I'd spent with Satoshi-kun. Tears rolled down my cheeks. Where did I go wrong? When in my life did I make the wrong choice? I do know just where and when that was, because Satoshi-kun reminded me. I'll leave Sotoko to you. Sure, I believe you'll return. I'll be waiting for you. I'll take care of Sotoko. I'll wait for you with her. We'll be good girls. You left your precious sister to me, and nobody else. I guess I didn't get the significance of what you said. But I'll be fine this time. I love you, Satoshi-kun. Sotoko, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, everybody. Shion, I'm really sorry. Could I repay everything with my death? No way, right? That's not how it should be done. I wanted Satoshi-kun to stroke my head one more time. I wanted to hear him mumble one more time. I knew it was too much to ask, and so I had no other regrets. That brought an end to my apologies. I rolled over, sending myself falling to the ground. Head first. I hoped my head would crack open, to take me to the hell I deserved. I was just a demon. I belonged in hell. Why was I born? Why did this world give birth to me? I shouldn't have been born. I wouldn't have had to suffer if I hadn't been. What was the meaning of my meaningless life? If I wasn't born, nobody would have had to suffer. I'm sorry. Thank you for treating me kindly, even though I was like this. Thank you for teaching me love, even though I was like this. Even though I was like this, even though. I'm really sorry, everybody. I really am. I'm sorry. If Satoshi-kun could give me another chance, I wouldn't make the same mistake again. Never again. Here comes the ground. Bye. I love you. Huh? We heard Satoshi's, mumbling one last time before death.
今日までの出来事が
Okay.
すべて夢だったらいいのになって何度も思った。だから書いてみた。書いて夢になると信じて。ほら、よく漫画の中にあるじゃない？私の目の前に食べきれないほどのお菓子が積み上げてあって、それに手を伸ばし、まさに食らいつこうというところで、無粋に起こされて目を覚ますの。それは、とてつもなく長い夢で、私は1年以上も眠っていたことになる。そう。私は、監督の野球チームの試合の後、
What?
有頂天に駆け出して、赤信号の横断歩道に踊り出して、バイクにはねられてしまった。それで、ずっと1年以上も意識が戻らなくて、ようやく目が覚めるの。まぶたを開けたとき、そこには病院の天井が飛び込んでくる。それから、ずっと看病しててくれたサトシ君が覗き込んでくれて。
It seems like to the bitter end, her imagination
さすがにこれはで
has
きす
just
ぎ
been
た。
a little too much.
でも、いいよね。そういうことにしても、いいよね。
Yeah, that's honestly what it seems like. I'm sorry that I was born. Wow.
ごめんなさい。
Yeah, I'm sorry too, Shion. You had it rough. For various reasons. And I'm sorry for everyone that died. Here's our credits. Breakdown of all persons involved with or linked to the series of deaths in Hinamizawa. Perfect. Tamai Hojo died via homicide by blunt trauma within the village, June 20th, 1982. Satoshi Hojo, believed to have disappeared from the village, June 24th, 1982. Whereabouts unknown. Alright, Tomitake, believed to have committed suicide. Death resembles that of Rika Furude. Investigation ongoing. Mio Takano, death by strangulation in the mountains of Gifu Prefecture, June 19th, 1983. Corpse was found incinerated. Investigation ongoing. Oreo Sonozaki, murdered by Shion Sonozaki, June 20th, 1983. Cause of death believed to be shock, induced by stun gun. Alright. Rika Furude, believed to have been murdered by Shion Sonozaki on June 22nd. Cause of death was shock due to extreme hemorrhaging caused by lacerations to the throat. Death resembles that of Tomitake's. Investigation ongoing. Kichiro Kimiyoshi, murdered by Shion. Yeah, we know that one. Sadako Hojo, murdered by Shion. Yeah. Cause of death is shock due to hemorrhaging. Or how do you pronounce that? Induced by multiple penetration wounds. Mion Sonozaki. Cause of death is severe trauma to impact after falling down a vertical tunnel. Keiichi Maibara, stabbed by Shion Sonozaki. Victim was severely injured, but is recuperating. Yeah. Ain't that right? Reina Ryugu, last accounted for in 2004. Shishibone City. Ueshi, alright. All these guys are still pretty alright. Irie, he didn't kill himself in this one. Kasai. Maibara, the Maibaras, yeah, okay, they're back in Tokyo. Okay, this is interesting. So now we're up to 2004. And everybody's doing alright. Uh-oh. Keiichi Maibara died in a Tokyo hospital on July 3rd, 1983. Cause of death is acute heart failure. And Shion Sonozaki died on June 30th, 1983. Cause of death is a severe trauma due to impact after falling from the balcony of her apartment. The suspect for serial murders, which began on June 20th, 1983, fell to her death from the balcony of her apartment, which she hastily rented to conceal her identity. Following her death, police filed charges against her for the 5 murders which began with Oreo Sonozaki. So they did find out that it was her. She was the one behind it all. Okay, so what happened to Keiichi there? From his perspective, it looked like he was murdered. But I guess that wasn't the case? Interesting. And see, that's exactly why having multiple perspectives in this shit has been so helpful. I'm glad that we got to experience the story through Shion's crazy eyes. And yes, she is indeed crazy. I don't care what y'all say.
よっしゃー、お昼だお昼。
What's going on here?
そらレナ、机をくっつけろ。
今日はレナのお弁当はミートボールなんだよ。
おお、そりゃいいね。おじさんもぜひいただくよ。ほらリカちゃん、机。
くっつけるのですよ。ペター。残念なことにミートボールは私も大好物でございましたよ。皆さんに一口でも口に入るとは思わないことでしたよ。
残
Hey,
念。
wait a minute.
そうはいかないです、さとこ。
She doesn't go to this school.
明らかに野菜不足のさとこには特別にかぼちゃ弁当を用意させてもらいました。
うわ、そりゃいじめだぞシオン。
うわー、かぼちゃは嫌ですの。
ほら、そのかぼちゃ嫌いはダメです。かぼちゃはですね、栄養価にとても優れているんです。育ち盛りのさとこは特に栄養に気を使わないといけないんですよ。私の目の黒いうちは変色は認めないので、その覚悟でお願いします。
I'm assuming this is her imagined, I guess, redoing her second chance or whatever, where she'll actually go off of Satoshi's promise, if you will.
ほらほら、みんなもどうぞどうぞ。 ホコホコのかぼちゃって甘くて美味しいんですよ。
もにゅもにゅ。さとこ、これなら甘くて美味しいのですよ。
お、確かにこりゃいけるな。かぼちゃの甘みが嫌味なく、それでいて絶妙で。さとこ、お前は食うな、もったいない。
なんですって？かぼちゃは嫌いですけど、言い方が気に入りませんわ。
そら言った言った。一口にガバッと言ってみなよ。
ほらね、美味しいでしょ？まあ食べれなくもないですわね。
当たり前です。さとこがかぼちゃ嫌いを克服できるように日夜研究してますので。さて、この調子で今年中にナス、ピーマン、アスパラガスと制覇していきましょう。
冗談はごめんですわ。私が沖宮の学校に転校しましてよ。
ダメです。サトシくんから頼まれている以上、健康管理は私の担当です。
Well, that really clears up my prediction there.
不摂生も許しませんから、そのつもりで。
シオンさん嫌い。かぼちゃ嫌。
How cute. Remember when girl left killed girl, right? Good times, right? She's definitely imagining all this, because she is dead, right? But then there were all those inconsistencies that Ueshi had brought up. The scenario jump mode has been unlocked. This game features a scenario jump mode. You may replay any scenario you've completed before from the start menu on the main title screen. Well, I think I'm okay there. The tips reading room has been unlocked. You can now read the tips you've obtained so far. Well, apparently there's supposed to be one unlocking here, and that's the final tip. The staff room. Okay, that's it. This is a thank you message for purchasing the game. I did indeed purchase this video game, and I like to be thanked for purchasing. It makes me feel like I'm really... Yeah, here's our new tips. A happy diary and disowned. So we have a little bit more to go through, it looks like. And then I guess we're done. Achievement unlocked. Revelation. Well, I guess my questions are still there regarding the inconsistencies that Ueshi brought up at the end of Chapter 2. Like, with Takano-san, when she was killed, I remember that being a problem. And I guess one of the inconsistencies was taken care of, with Mion having died. Maybe? I don't know. Alright, let's read our tips, and then we'll go into the staff room. And then I think we'll be done. I'm guessing, yep, it's these two here. A happy diary and disowned with a green-haired woman right here next to Kasai.
ええ。笠井氏が踏み込んだ時には、室内は無人でベランダへの窓が開きっぱなし。その時が飛び降り時刻です。それで、その真下の5階エレベーターフロアの屋根に一度落ちて脳震盪。そのしばらく後に横に転がって再落下。笠井氏が飛び降りを疑って地上を調べた時に遺体が見つからなかったのは、この時点ではエレベーターフロアの屋根の上で混沌中だったからです。
Okay, here's another one for you guys. We had heard in Chapter 2 that Shion died because, you know, we heard the wrestling, all that in the room next door, and then she fell off directly after, as if like she was pushed off or something like that. But it was all just Shion. It was Shion tripping on her way back up or something, or just falling off her veranda like the dumb bitch she is. But there was no rustling and bustling before that. It was before she went to go kill Keiichi, then she came back. Is that how it went down?
前原圭一が刺されたのは
Why am I doubting what just happened?
その頃には園崎シオンはすでに飛び降りていて、屋根の上で脳震盪中？
違いますね。ベランダから抜け出して前原圭一を刺して ベランダへまた戻るときに誤って落下じゃないかな。
Yeah, that's literally what
悪い
happened.
けど、
That's
周
the
辺の部屋のベランダ
inconsistency.
とかも調べ直してください。
おいさん、3番にお電話です。
はいはい、どちら様から？
佐藤と伝えればわかるとか、合言葉は論と言えと。
なもしもし。ああ、佐藤さんですか。こっちへ電話ということはいい知らせでしょうね。
An informant got in contact with me, and you were right after all.
うんうん。ありがとうございます。今度フラワーロードで一杯おごりますよ。
なんです今の電話。麻雀の誘いですか？
ビンゴ。園崎姉妹は逆なんです。ミオンがシオンでシオンがミオン。入れ墨入れる時に間違って逆にやっちゃって取り返しがつかなくなったらしい。だからこのノートのミオンとシオンは逆に読むんです。それでならサトシ君とシオンさん、いやミオンさん、ややこしいな。
Tell me about it, brother.
の
God
関係
damn.
が理解できる。
Finally, somebody understands my pain.
ノートって先日の大石さん宛てと書かれて郵便ポストに投函されてたっていう買いノートのことですか？中身はめちゃくちゃで捜査撹乱の恐れありって言いませんでしたっけ？
もちろん名前の入れ替えが分かったところで撹乱の域を出ませんがね。このノートどこまで信じていいのやら。もし本当なら古出理香の死のあたりが怪しすぎるからな。
異常者の日記ですよ。読んでるとこっちまで変になりそうです。最後のページの生まれてきてごめんなさいなんて読んでるとこっちまで飛び降りたくなりますよ。
でも幸せな日記じゃないですか。
幸せですか？
この日記だけでサトシ君って名前何回くらい出てくると思います？シオンさんは本当にサトシ君のことが好きだったんだなって。
That or she was kind of obsessed with him.
その好きというのがね、若さゆえの勘違いでずれちゃって。
I don't know. I mean, I guess you can call it young love, but it's absolutely one-sided. That shit is one-sided and just a little obsessive, which led to, you know, problems.
ねえ、教えてよ母さん。鬼ババとどういう喧嘩をしたわけ？
So that's the mother.
感動されるなんてよっぽどだったわけでしょ？
お前もくだらないことに興味が尽きないね。ま、そろそろ話してもわからない年じゃないか。
Damn, she's quite the gal right there.
実はね、父さんと結婚したいって言ったらね。
何それ？
Didn't mean to cut her off though.
私も当時はだいぶ社内着方してて呆れられててね。その挙句連れてきた男が人気者だったわけでしょ。そりゃ大喧嘩よ。いい名付けは当主が決めるなんて言われて、そんなのしたこっかいこんなクソババア、この場で切り伏せたらって大立ち回りよ。互いに板の間の日本刀抜いてちゃんちゃんバラバラ。
That sounds wicked cool, actually.
いえ、
I like this
鬼ババ
woman
と
even
盾
more
を
now.
演じたわけ？
And I just met her.
母さんやるね。
まあね、母さんこう見えても若い頃は武闘派だし、互いに剣道有段だからそりゃあド派手だったわよ。周りはおろおろ。面白かった。
なるほどね。その騒ぎのせいで感動されたわけ？
そうよ、感動上等。遠慮なく感動もらって父さんと籍を入れたわよ。
I mean, what a way to go. Like, sword fight and then, like, ditch that shit and marry somebody you love. Did fucking great. That's awesome.
ま、けじめってことで爪を剥がされたけどね。
Okay, that part's not awesome, though.
ほら、左手の爪だけいびつでしょ。
うわあ、それで鬼ババと母さんはずっと仲が悪いわけだね。
シオン、 本当はね。そんなことないの。私と鬼ババ様はちゃんと仲がいいんだよ。
嘘だ
鬼ババ様には面倒な世間体があるからね。一度でも感動した以上甘くすると示しがつかないし。だから私も親類会議とかではおとなしく引っ込んでるけど、たまに遊びに行ってのんびりお茶とか飲んでるよ。
嘘だ
実はね、内緒よ。鬼ババ様もね、その昔けじめで爪を剥いだことあるんだってよ。今度会ったら左手の爪をよく見てごらん。
鬼ババは何をやったわけ？
そうね。母さんは知らない。
I don't know if I can trust those words.
あ、その顔は知ってるな。教えてよ。
Well, that was interesting. Alright, that was all the tips. I don't know what was really to get out of that, to be honest with you. Alright, we have the staff room to go through, and then there's also another thing we're gonna do. But, hold on a second. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Okay. I wasn't doing anything important. I just needed to get up for a reason. Alright, we good. Let's, do the staff room. I'm assuming this is what was the, I don't know. The, whatever the post-epilogue story chapter shits were back in the other games. Do you think that murder can be justified depending on the motive? No. Murder's murder. Hi, this is Meakashi 07. Oh shit, it's him. This is the guy. This is the guy that's been making these games. Thank you for playing Higurashi When They Cry. Kai, Chapter 5, Meakashi. Although I depict many deaths in my work, I often ask myself a question. That question is there such a thing as justifiable murder? I was joking, by the way, guys. That is a good question. That is a good philosophical question. You gotta think of the morals, too. In our world, murder is prosecuted, and the degree of punishment varies depending on the motive and circumstances. Having different degrees of punishment means that we are putting a value on the dead person's life. Some scenes justify murder in Higurashi. By degrading the life of the victim in those scenes, the players can sympathize with the character more easily. The degree of sympathy would be different from person to person. The people who could sympathize probably felt catharsis? Yeah. And the people who disagreed with the character might have felt uncomfortable. That's indicated by how opinions were polarized regarding Keiichi's actions and Tatari Goro... Fuck, whatever Chapter 3 was. I know that was Chapter 3. In Meakashi, there are also a number of murders. But this time the main character Shion tries to earn sympathy for each one of them. How did you feel? How much were you able to sympathize with her? Not at all. To be completely honest with you, guy. Totally not at all. If you couldn't sympathize with her at all, then please berate her as a crazy murderer. Perfect. Okay, I'm on the right track, I think. If you sympathized with her at all, then please have mercy on her. If you sympathize with her almost entirely, then please have mercy on her. If you completely sympathize with her, then please let us berate both of you as crazy murderers, lol. I like this guy. Okay, I do kind of sympathize with Shion because she is crazy and she's kind of put into a tough situation. But I can't sympathize with her on the murdering that she did. I don't know. I don't know. She was thrown into such an awful position and her mentality just dropped drastically over time. What about me? Well, that's a secret. I'd like to reverse my question this time. What kind of murderer could you sympathize with if you were to be killed? A murderer who doesn't care about people's lives? That'd be quite a regrettable death. It's extremely sad to be killed in denial of all your values. A murderer who begs for forgiveness in tears? That'd be quite regrettable too. And they shouldn't kill you at all if they're begging for your forgiveness, haha. So what kind of murderer could you sympathize with? In the end, sympathy might just be a method for making the story more interesting. If you can sympathize, it's fun. If you can't sympathize, then you're they're just crazy, yeah. We cannot put value on human life. It's a sin to even try doing so. A murder is a murder. Nothing more than that. I just hope everybody can live happily together. How does that sound? Would you agree to that? If you wouldn't... I don't know if I like that laughter, guy. Thank you very much for playing Higurashi When They Cry Kai, Chapter 5, Meakashi. I could only bring out this 5th episode thanks to all of your support. Higurashi will only get more intense as it approaches the finale. Nothing would make me happier, than if you continued reading the chapters to come. The next chapter will be oh god damn it, I can't read this shit. Tsumi Horoboshi. I probably butchered that. Really, I'm rather fortunate if you've enjoyed yourself even a little. Thank you again for playing. I hope this has brought a little color to your life. Oh, it has. 07th expansion, Meakashi 07. I hope I'm pronouncing his name just a teensy bit correct. Hopefully, I don't know. I kind of like this in comparison to like all the characters getting together as actors, you know? Alright, that was the achievement unlocked there. I don't know if that was all the achievements. I hope it was. But I think that is it. I think that's everything that we have going on for us here in this chapter. However, if you guys recall in the last episode, or at least I think it was the last episode. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I made a save file at where there was a decision to make. The one choice that you can make in this game. And we have to choose whether we're going to become aware of Keiichi's gaze or not. And by not, I guess we were able to become phased by what he was going to say. But if we do, then we won't become phased and we're just gonna murder him. I'm assuming. So this is a little bonus for you and me and God above. Let us see what happens by choosing the wrong choice. Keiichi's growl resounded from the pits of his stomach. Actually, can we skip this? No. What a delightful sound. It was like he wanted to rip me apart.
ようやくお目覚め？私、さっき嘘をついたね。シオンを一番むごたらしく殺してやろうと思って閉じ込めておいたけど、まだあれが嘘。
Okay, maybe... I don't know. This seems very familiar. I smiled menacingly as I laid out the huge nails and hammers specially made for the nail table.
あの子に自分のせいで死ぬ大勢の人の悲鳴をたっぷりと聞かせて、体の芯まで染み通らせてから殺すの。なかなかセンスいいでしょ
Oh, absolutely.
お前は誰だ？
は？ミオンでしょ？園崎ミオン。恐怖で頭が変になっちゃった？
Yeah, this is the same shit.
違うな。
Yeah, this is the same stuff.
園崎ミオンであるはずがない。
My hand stopped dead in its tracks. It's not letting me skip. Kei-chan. Shit. I decided it'd be too late once we reached Shion's cell. So the name guessing game is already over. Oh well, whatever. Bring it on. I'll listen to you. This is your last chance.
じゃあ、私がミオンじゃなかったら、私は誰なわけ？
Come on, Kei-chan. Guess who I am. Try and save Mion, the girl who fell in love with you. And then I heard it. I most definitely heard it. Keiichi's mouth trembled as he spoke the words, yet his eyes shone with a strong conviction. And he spoke the truth.
シオンだな。
Okay, this is different. Wow. You're right. You actually won. You're amazing, Kei-chan. A strange feeling fills my chest as I shiver. I had convinced myself there was no way he could guess, but he did, and I couldn't help feeling a bit surprised. This Keiichi had yet again pierced through my disguise.
お前はミオンじゃない。さっきまで一緒だったミオンを返せ。
Who are you?
え？
You aren't Mion, right?
え？だから私、ミオン。
No, that's not it. That wasn't what I meant. You aren't Mion.
どうして私がお姉じゃないって思うんですか？
I don't know, just a feeling. In my mind, memories of the time Keiichi recognized me at the toy store had been revived. Yeah. Even back then, Keiichi could tell that I wasn't my sister Shion. I had feigned composure and offered to come back with a straight face, but on the inside I was shook. We were both capable of becoming Mion or Shion, but because I was the real Mion and was only Shion legally on paper, reversing the roles was even more easier for me. Our tones of speech, quirks, and even our auras, we had both mastered each other's habits so perfectly, even our own parents were unable to tell us apart. In fact, wasn't that exceptionally sharp Rena not able to figure out I wasn't her best friend Mion after all, despite being so close? Excuse me there. So why has this Keiichi actually seen through my disguise twice?
どうして私がお姉じゃないって思うんですか?
My ears perked up, eager to hear the answer. Keiichi's reply was a soft murmur like an insect's whisper as he gasped for breath and pain. His voice was so quiet, it was nearly inaudible, but I could almost recognize the words on his lips. Yes, just a feeling, he says.
へえ。
Hahaha. Yet again, it was just a feeling. Didn't he say the exact same thing to me that time at the toy store? Ha! How nice, what a splendid answer. You'd think why my sister of all people fell in love with him. Laughter. However, no, rather it was exactly because of this. Along with my raving madness, well, she said it herself, the blood that was simmering in my veins until just now rapidly began to turn chill and coagulate, excuse me. If I were to describe it, it felt like stagnant, muddy water floating through a gutter. Even now, it was all so hilarious, I could fall over laughing. But I didn't smile. On the contrary, my face was vacant and austere, like a no mask of frigid ice. Oh, excuse me, and then the darkness seeped into my innermost depths of my mind, and I was already parting with my self-restraint as a human being. I reach out and touch Keiichi's hair, matted with sweat and caked with blood. Keiichi whips his head away at once in disgust, as if he were staving off a housefly, and glares at me defiantly.
触るなこの鬼め返せミオンを返せよ俺の最高の友人だったミオンを返せ
Having lost liberty over his whole body, he continued to howl and cry as if he were spewing blood. I was supposed to have sold my soul to the devil and become a demon, but faced with such a bitter rejection, I felt the crumbled remnants of my emotions stir within me. Munch, crunch, munch, crunch, munch, crunch. My throat begins to itch, the crooks of my elbows and my wrists and every other joint in my body begins to tingle and prickle, and I feel irrationally restless. The more the restlessness and irritation piled up, the more this squalling, whimpering person beside me felt bothersome, revolting, so awful I could slaughter him right away. To be frank, until just now, I had no intention of killing Keiichi. I was truly ready to spare at least his life, if he guessed the right answer. That was the rule I decided upon. Okay, I'll admit it, just like Shion, I had also fallen in love with Keiichi. He was incredibly silly and good-natured, unbelievably warm-hearted and gentle. Talking to him made me feel contented. Besides, I even sympathized with him. Unlike the lot I dealt with so far, Keiichi was indeed just a victim, caught up in my selfish revenge drama. Now that my revenge against the Sonozaki family was almost complete, I didn't mind saving him. That may sound too convenient, but perhaps the human side of me that was fond of Keiichi wanted to save him, in order to seek his forgiveness for my actions. But I've changed my mind. Having witnessed Keiichi guess the right answer before my eyes, my heart was suffused with a stinging, gaping, overpowering darkness as if it were freezing over. Why? Why was Shion alone able to meet such a wonderful person? Satoshi-kun could only make a vague distinction between me and Shion. Satoshi-kun abandoned me and ran away. However, this Keiichi trusts Shion. He is defending Shion, whom he values as his best friend, by seeing through my lies. And as a result, he gave up on me. detestable, maddening, despicable, inviolable, so much so that I want to kill them. That's right, the moment he defended Shion, he became one of them. He's equally guilty. You low-life scum, I despise you, 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 you fucking piece of shit. Hahaha, he gonna die in this route. Ah, what a nuisance. Shion's screams coming from the corner of the chamber were enjoyable before, but now they felt unbearably noisy and pissed me off. How about I just get rid of Shion first? I wanted to kill her after she had the most exquisite taste of anguish and terror, but now I could barely suppress the indiscriminate urge to slaughter welling up within me. Keiichi was relentlessly yelling his protest towards me. His throat closed up eventually as he gasped for breath, hoarsely continuing to demand Mion's return.
ゲイちゃん、メイドの土産なんて気の利いたものじゃないけれど、どうしても知りたがっているようだから、一つだけ教えてあげるよ。私の中に鬼が宿ったのはずいぶん前。その鬼は、私を蝕み、強行に駆り立てようとした。だけれど、私はそれを理性で押さえつけた。鬼はそれで収まり、私はその鬼はどこかへ行ってしまったんだと思い込んでいた。でも、本当は違った。私の中から出て行ったんじゃなく、私の中で眠っていただけだったの。
Yes. When I learned about Satoshi-kun's disappearance, my ailing heart had crammed itself with rage to compensate for the despair. But that was the limit of my insanity. I would never have snapped. Time had healed me, and my memories of Satoshi-kun were neatly wrapped up and pushed into the back of my mind.
その鬼は、ある小さなことをきっかけに、また目覚めてしまった。それは、何に原因があったと思う？
Wait, okay, we've gone through this. Yeah, we know this. We know this one.
すべてをおかしくしてしまった原因。
Yeah, it's the
ケ
doll.
イちゃんには理解できない。だけどね、初めの小さな一つを倒したあなたに自覚がないのは当然だろうけど。
Back then, if Keiichi hadn't shown a okay, yeah, we
あ
know
なたが
this.
元凶なの。
Okay, we know this part. I just want to know what's different here, and skipping does nothing because, well, I guess this is technically a different route and not one that we've gone on.
そんな。
自覚がないのはとても紛れもなく
we
元
know
凶なの
this.
はケイちゃん。
We know this, different future, you know, Steins Gate, all of that. Okay, we know all this. We've gone through this. But what's gonna happen now? Okay, the demon, no room for human emotions. Oh, and this is different. Shion's wails rasping like silk, tearing apart, along with my screams of ecstasy. The last thing I heard were those everlasting reverberations. So I guess killing Keiichi was the bad end. Which, you know, I kind of guessed. That doesn't follow chapter 2, and that removes any possibility of anything also what the fuck? Is there an epilogue for this too? What the fuck? I don't want to go through this. We already know what happened. Oh, god dang it. I don't want to go through this. I'm sure it's all the same shit too. I'm pretty sure it's the same shit. Wait, the apprehended suspect was found collapsed at a place approximately 2 meters away from where Keiichi Maibaro was restrained and sustained scratch wounds on her throat. She was also transferred to an emergency facility, but was pronounced dead. Okay, well, that's different. Immediate excessive blood loss. Hair, pieces of skin, and blood of the 4 missing people were recovered from the hidden chamber. Yeehaw. But it was concluded the victims were assaulted in that hidden chamber. Victims' bodies were discovered at the bottom of an old well, as per the testimony of the victim, Mion Sonozaki. In addition, investigations continued into any possible connection to the series of mysterious deaths in recent years, but no evidence of Shion Sonozaki's direct or indirect involvement had been found. There are still many obscurities to the motive behind the incident, and due to extreme non-cooperation from the Sonozaki family and residents of Hinamizawa, a large amount of time will be required. We know that. Okay, we know this part too. This is the same shit. They're gonna say, oh yeah, be cautious. We expected to gain valuable hints from the missing person and the suspect's sister, Mion Sonozaki, who was under confinement for the longest time period. But you know what? It makes sense that, you know, her psychological state would suck. According to her physician, condition is fairly serious, strong prospect of recovery. She's at present undergoing rehabilitation with support from her close friends. Okay. Several weeks had passed since then. After that incident, I was rescued by Ueshi-san and his team, who Rena had summoned. I had no other after effects aside from my consciousness that had been wiped white. If I were to have any at all, it'd have to be the deep scars that had been left inside my heart. Excuse me. As I was being examined at the hospital, I was subjected to various queries from Ueshi-san. I tried to answer them with whatever little I knew, but I had no idea if it met his expectations, and neither did I bear any responsibility to do so. From what I heard, Shion had already lost too much blood by the time the had police arrived, okay, and she had stopped breathing. They urgently called for an ambulance and took her to the clinic, but there was barely any time for first aid, and she took her last breath. The silver lining was that Mion, who had been captive in her cell, was safe and taken into custody by the police. Up until the moment I lost consciousness, I was afraid that Shion may fly into a rage and murder Mion, but I was just glad we had managed to avoid the worst case scenario. Only when Mion was rescued, she was emaciated and had sustained severe psychological trauma. Apparently, at the time of her rescue, she had been completely unable to respond to the police's questions. Right now, Mion is admitted at a large hospital in the vicinity and undergoing treatment for her psychological and physical injuries. In the beginning, when Rena and I went to visit, her eyes were downcast in desolation, and she looked completely worn out. It was a horrible state to be in. But despite it all, as of late, she is on her way to recovery, finally well enough to show us a few smiles. Of course, we have been careful not to bring up Soroko or Rika-chan, and especially Shion. The police later conducted an on-site investigation of the Sonozaki house's underground storehouse several days after the incident took place. Particularly the well inside which Soroko and Rika-chan's bodies were disposed of by Shion was carefully surveyed by the prefectural forensic investigators, and true to Shion's testimony, the girls were discovered. Apparently, sediment had accumulated at the bottom of the well, and hence the discovery had taken several days. Along with Soroko and the other victims, skeletal remains that were several years, even several decades old, were found, but it's not like I would know much about that. Even I was once summoned back to the place to assist with the crime scene investigation, but I didn't really help them find anything important. The Sonozaki family in Okinomiya, in other words, Mion and Shion's parents, came home every day several times along with many of their followers to formally apologize. And no matter how much my parents refused, they kept piling up banknotes worth millions of yen as compensation. And once that money had piled up and reached a certain amount, on the same day there came an envelope with a letter inside. I have no idea what was written in that letter, but my parents had discussed amongst themselves for 2 nights straight without consulting me, and decided we would move away from Hinamizawa.
そっか。引っ越しちゃうんだね。いつ？
来月の終わり。南沢には結局、半年も居つかなかったことになるな。
寂しくなるね。きっとみーちゃんも悲しむよ。
悪い。ミオンにも、正直話すべきか、迷ってる。
Once Rena had heard me say that, she strongly insisted I had to tell her no matter what.
確かに、今みーちゃんにそれを告げるのは酷なのかもしれない。でも、ケイチくんが黙っていなくなっちゃう方が、きっとみーちゃんは辛いと思う。だから、一緒に話しに行こう。
ああ、そうだな。
ああ、そっか。ケイちゃん、Hinamizawaからいなくなっちゃうんだ。
Yeah. Even though she had heard it from me, Mion whispered those words sadly, but she didn't seem that surprised. Surely she had mentally prepared herself for this outcome somewhere inside her heart.
すまん。けど俺、いつかひなみ沢に戻ってくるつもりだ。約束する。
いいよ、無理しなくても。ここに来ても、きっとケイちゃんにいいことなんて何もないんだから。
Oh, trust me, there's plenty of good memories.
みーちゃん。
Both Rena and I wanted to say it wasn't so, but after such a tragic event, what verbal consolation could we offer that would help to Mion, who had suffered a much greater pain than we ever had? And so we just stood there, unable to say anything, just wallowing in silence.
私も東京に行こうかな。
え？
来週退院できるらしいんだけど、ここにいてもいいことあんまりないし、東京でなくてもどこか遠く、私のこともHinamizawaのことも知らない土地に行きたい。やり直せるなんて都合のいいことは考えてないけど、全部投げ出したいよ。
ミオン。
Mion had been forced to carry the name of the next head of the Sonozaki family and the representative of the three great families, all due to a small misunderstanding. Despite feeling uncertain and worry about her unplanned responsibility, she had nevertheless been earnest and given her all to fulfill her duties. But to think, all of that had been concluded in such a manner. It was such a tremendous loss that it's almost a surprise she hasn't completely lost her mind. Who can really blame Mion anymore for making such a faint-hearted remark? And so I wanted to devote even a little bit of my remaining time here for her.
そうだな、ミオン。一緒にどこか行くか。
え？どこへ？
決まってるだろ。旅行だよ。俺がここにいられる期間はもうあまりないけど、だったらせめて少しでもいい思い出を取り返しておかないとな。東京はちょっと遠いけど、大きな町とかに足を伸ばしてうまい飯とか買い物とかさ。どうだ？
どうって言われても。
それとってもいいと思うな。行っておいでよ、みーちゃん。ね。
けど、レナ、一緒に来てくれないの？
No, it's romancing time. After hearing that, even I grow puzzled. Hadn't I suggested all three of us hang out together?
だって、レナは馬になんて蹴られたくないもん。だから、二人っきりでどうぞ。あ、お土産買ってきてくれると嬉しいな。
Boom, Mion blushes vigorously. I was slow to react because I didn't understand what Rena was getting at, but seeing Mion's face imbued with color after a long time, my heartbeat grew faster for a moment. Now, it wasn't what I implied when I suggested the date, or the idea, but depending on the point of view, wouldn't this be an invitation to a date?
いかん。ちょっと調子に乗りすぎたかも。
Indeed, after seeing it that way, I was overcome with embarrassment, but there was no way I could back out after coming this far. God, this was all for Mion's sake. Pull yourself together, Keiichi Maibara.
どうだ、ミオン。あ、もちろん医者と親御さんにはちゃんと了解を取るつもりだぜ。あんまり無理はさせないつもりだから、考えておいてくれよ。
わかった。考えておくね。
はう、みーちゃんが久々に可愛いよ。嬉しいな、嬉しいな。はうはうはう。
Rena being Mion's #1 fan here is insane. After that, we spent the day talking about harmless stuff that happened at school or in the neighborhood until it was evening. I felt like Mion had regained some of her spirit and acted a bit like she used to, so I was happy. After a few days, Mion had contacted me to say she was okay with my plan. And after spending a few more days to convince my folks and Mion's parents, we set off on a day's trip to a metropolis that had one of those bullet train stations. Damn, we're in a completely different fucking setting here.
しばらく見ないうちに、ここってすごく大きくなったんだね。
As soon as she stepped out of the station, Mion set eyes on a scenery sprawling with people and cars. She shared her feelings and excitement as she looked on it admiringly. From what I heard, unless it's on a very important business, Mion rarely gets to leave the village, let alone come out to a big city like this. Because of that, everything she saw looked fresh and fascinating to her, and she pranced around merrily, almost like a child.
ねえねえ、ケイちゃん、これからどこに行くの？
そうだな。ミオンの好みから考えて、あそこはどうだ？
The place I was pointing to, one I had checked out in advance, was a massive, beautifully decorated game arcade that towered over a corner of the station shopping square.
なかなか盛大に遊び回ったな。
面白かった。あんなにゲームで遊んだの、本当に久しぶりだよ。
As I sat down on the bench, Mion was gleefully draining her can of juice with a huge smile. That expression was unlike the gloomy one Mion had worn at the hospital. Next to me was the Mion I knew well. Earlier, we'd had a blast, vowing to conquer all the game consoles in the vicinity, and made quite the ruckus, without caring about the people watching. Mion was enjoying herself playing on consoles that she wasn't used to and had gone on a rampage, laughing out loud, getting worked up, and challenging me to matches. Although I couldn't help thinking about what ifs as I was playing with her, about how much fun it would have been if only it weren't just the two of us, but also Rena, Sodoko, and Rika-chan as well. I'm sure Mion must have been thinking the same thing, which was also why I outdid myself, making so much noise, trying to battle the loneliness, when I had realized.
なあ、ミオン。
何、ケイちゃん。
With faint drops of sweat coating her forehead, Mion turned to face me with a broad smile. Mion's cheerfulness, was most likely just her being considerate towards me for having brought her here. If that was so, then I needed to do the same for her.
お前、全部初めてって言ってたけど、それ本当か？初プレイで2台もハイスコアに名前入れるなんて、とんでもない実力だぜ。
ちっちっち。4台の間違いだよ、ケイちゃん。こういうのはセンスと勘、そして動体視力がものを言うのさ。普段の鍛錬を怠らなかった成果だよ。むしろケイちゃんはアドバンテージをひっくり返されたことを恥と思うべきだね。
おいおい、ちょっと待てよ。エアホッケーの時とか、あれ何？なんて後ろを指さして顔を向けた瞬間打ち込んできたのは反則だろ。まったく容赦のないやつだぜ。
勝てば官軍、負ければ賊軍だよ。
For the time being, it's alright if her well-being is a front. All I hope for is that someday, this becomes real, and she recovers her old cheerful self.
いやいや、それにしてもゲーセンも雰囲気が変わったよな。少し前ならタバコ臭くて暗いイメージだったけど、家族連れで遊びに来る人も結構いたからちょっと驚いたぜ。
そうだね。やっぱたまにはこういうのも楽しいよね。あ、今何時ぐらい
？5時くらいかな。
ああ、じゃあ夕食まであと少しだね。どこかで食べて帰る？
そうだな。ファーストフードでハンバーガーなんてどうだ？
Oh yeah, we're going American.
おお、いいね。あ、その前にちょっと失礼。
Mion said that and stood up from the bench. I found it odd for a minute, but then I understood her intention and...
店にもトイレはあるぞ。
Instead of a reply, I had empty cans thrown at me. Mion stuck her tongue out at me and left in a hurry, and after I watched her retreating figure, I plopped back down on the bench and looked up at the sky. The sky was pure blue and crystal clear, and it felt amazing. Everything seemed to be glowing, bathed in the brilliant summer sun. It was a good thing we came here. Mion also seemed to show signs of recovery.
そうだな。なんなら今度はいっそ東京にでも誘ってみるか。
It would be cheaper if she stayed at our new place there, but I feel like our parents may be concerned for a while. We still needed some more time to go back to how it was.
そうなると泊まる場所も探しておかないとな。あとは。
Why, hello there.
こんにちは。
Wait, what's happening?
いやー、ごめんケイちゃん。トイレ人いっぱいでさ。あ、結構待たせちゃったみたいだから飲み物買ってきた。
What's happening?
どっちがいい？あれ、ケイちゃん寝ちゃったの？もうしょうがないな。女の子とのデート中に居眠りなんてエチケット違反だよ。ケイちゃん、もういつまで寝てるんだよ。ほら起きて。
ケイちゃん。
Oh.
は
What happened? Everything was going so happy there. What happened? There was that Obi-Wan Kenobi shit and then he just died. Was this supposed to be like the heart attack or whatever that he apparently has to go through in the other route? Did that just line up with the same shit? That was kind of strange. I don't know if there was like a hint towards something there, or I don't know. I was kind of getting soaked into the niceness, like the actual, like, okay, this was the happy ending but not the true ending sort of deal. That was weird. I feel like there's still some questionable shit going on there, but I don't know. All right, so that's it. We are done with this chapter, I'm pretty sure, but I can check the achievements just to be absolutely sure. Yep, 100%, we are done. So I guess we should go back and talk about that whole sympathy thing, the staff room, which replaced the, I guess the characters talking as if they were actors trying to figure out the story, which I kind of like this a little bit better. Sure, you don't get, like, you know, hints and all that and a nice summary of events, but I feel like this made you think about the actual morality and philosophy or psychological shit or whatever that's going on here in this series. And it was kind of interesting to think about. And I still stand by the whole thing where, like, yeah, I sympathize with Shion as a person, but I don't sympathize with her answers, or her actions, I'm sorry, and how she, you know, murdered people. In the same vein that I didn't really sympathize or agree with what Keiichi did in Chapter 3. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, just, that's not, you know, probably the best. I think if your solution is to kill people, then you have some problems. And there's always got to be some other solutions. Unless, like, it's life or death for you, like, you have to kill somebody or you die, then that's a little bit of a different situation. But that did not happen at all here. Or at least I don't believe so. Unless Shion kind of felt like that may have happened if she didn't kill Oreo, if she didn't kill the three families' heads. I don't know. I just don't think I can sympathize with her murderous intent in this one. Or in general, I don't know. Just wasn't for me. But I guess for the rest of the story, it was nice that we did get some answers here, and we had some beautifully well-written comments throughout this playthrough that kept me in line, making sure, okay, deep in my mind, I'm on the right track in some sort of vein. We have discovered that the Sonozaki family is not the mastermind family or entity behind the deaths here in Hinamizawa, you know, hiding behind the whole Yashiro-sama thing. It does seem to be more of like, okay, this is human action, but definitely not something that the Sonozaki family is doing alone. Oreo definitely has some power, but the decision-making and the rest of that system seems to be handled by a different entity. I don't think it's specifically Rika, but she knows who's going to die. Who is carrying out those deaths? And how exactly? Rika had the drug, and apparently that was the same drug that was injected into Toмотake that got him killed. So she is related somehow. She's our next clue. And hopefully some answers here are going to come up in the next chapter, or the chapter after that, or whatever. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited that a lot of these consistencies and all that were dealt with, knowing that a lot of what happened here was actions by Shion losing her goddamn mind, and not Mion for inexplainable reasons. It became a little bit more clear than how it was in Chapter 2, which is nice. A lot of things need to become clear with the events that happened in Chapter 3, and I don't know if that'll be next episode, or not episode, the next chapter, or any of these upcoming chapters if we revisit those events, because a lot of things after the Watanagashi made no sense, and deaths were happening seemingly for no reason, in a similar vein as to how deaths were happening for seemingly no reason in Chapter 2. But we got answers for that. We need answers for what happens in Chapter 3, and hopefully with those answers, we can begin to figure out what is truly going on. I'm super excited, as you guys could probably tell. And I'm all for you guys continuing to help me out as long as you're not spoiling anything. It's been great having a lot of you along who have gone through this or haven't gone through this, but are still helping me out in the comments, because I am a little bit of an idiot, if you will. I'm a bit of an NFT monkey looking guy, if that makes any sense. But it's been fun. This chapter has been insane in a lot of ways, but we got through it pretty quick. We got a lot from it, and boy oh boy, I'm ready for Chapter 6, but I am going to take a little bit of a breather, and I promise this time I will take a little bit of a month or two away from Higurashi, get myself ready for what's to come. Plus, it'll allow me to kind of think over, okay, what could happen? What do we need to know? What is the priority to figuring out this mystery? Thank you all for watching this episode. Thank you all for watching this chapter. And thank you all for watching this playthrough of the series in general. It's been a lot of fun so far, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I think in 2022, we'll be able to wrap the rest of the chapters up. It'll definitely be a priority here on the channel. I hope you guys are excited. If you enjoyed any of this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe so you guys are ready to go for the next chapter and beyond. And I will see you guys then. Thank you all for tuning in. Take it easy.